You know, look, you want $3.9 billion from the Fed. You're asking for it. You're begging for it. If you don't get that money, though, are we going to see certain bus and subway lines just go away?
Well, look, Corey, we're completely 100% focused on getting $3.9 billion. The United States Senate has come back into session. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Senator Schumer, is totally supportive of the MTA's asks. And the senator and the New York congressional delegation have been stalwart supporters of the MTA. The $3.9 billion that we received in the CARES Act runs out, frankly, this month, in the next a week or so. We'll get the last installment of that in August. It's absolutely critical because of the decline in our toll and fare revenues that caused by the pandemic, and a precipitous decline in the tax and subsidy payments that we get from that the state legislature has put in place over a period of decades. Our revenue has declined. We need $3.9 billion. We have in 2021 already booked in our financial plan nearly $800 million of expense cuts. We've come up with an additional $340 million, and I know that my colleagues here at the MTA can increase that number. That's $1.1 billion of expense that we'll take out in 2020. That's on top of about $2.5 billion that we've taken out on an annual recurring basis. The answer to your question is we desperately need the federal funding. We need it soon, and that will take us through the remainder of 2020. We're going to do everything we can to reduce every dollar of controllable overtime, reduce consulting contracts, terminate consulting contracts, and reduce non-labor, non-personnel expense. That's the $1.1 billion that I'm talking about. In terms of beyond that, there's a list of actions that we do not want to take, which would include delaying and deferring the capital plan, wage freezes, and other steps, and ultimately service reductions, which we absolutely do not want to take. Those of us who lived in New York for a long time, have seen the movie before. What happens when we stop investing in the transit system? Transit workers, subways, buses, Long Island Railroad, Metro North were heroes during this pandemic. Heroes, moving heroes, first responders, and essential workers. And it's critical to the economic recovery of New York City and the New York region that the MTA be in a position to take people to jobs, to medical appointments, to schools, etc. We did that throughout the pandemic with distinction at great cost to the agency, including in fatalities of transit workers and members of the MTA family. And it's critical that we get this funding.
Pat, let me ask you something. You are talking about the pandemic. We know we're in the third day now of phase 4. So how are things looking at this point? Are people abiding by the rules? I know you guys are doing a lot overnight to make sure, you're sanitizing, but what are the riders doing, and how safe are they feeling?
So that's a great question. So a couple of things. One is we've surveyed our customers. More than 70% of them tell us that the subways and subway cars have never been cleaner. That's because of the disinfecting regime that we put in when the pandemic started in early March. The second thing is we are doing physical counts of customers on subways and buses. The bus mask compliance, the bus mask compliance in the latest survey we did is at the 95 to 97% level. That's an impressive number. Our goal is to make it universal, and certainly all MTA employees, subways, buses, Metro North, and Long Island Railroad are wearing masks. Mask compliance on the subways is over 90%. We've surveyed a couple of 100,000 subway customers. That's good news. I'm going to be distributing together with colleagues masks on the subways in the next days. We started a mask force on Monday. We're distributing masks for free to customers who may not have them. They're also in many station booths around the system, and we're focused on getting 100% mask compliance. The most important thing any of our customers can do is to wear a mask that protects them, but it also protects their fellow commuters and our employees. Lastly, as a result of Governor Cuomo's executive order, it is New York State law that if you're riding on transit, you must have a mask.